All right, all right, all right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's get into it. What's up, party people? And hello, my friends. It's your girl. Welcome to China and welcome to my channel. And baby, it's been a lot going on. Rest in peace to DMX. We already know we had some drama going on today and all that. That was making me so upset. But let's give it a moment of silence to DMX before we get started in this drama. Rest in peace to DMX. Thank you for that memento of silence. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell has been in a little bit of a doozy dazzle. In reality, Steve, let me tell you, this is probably the hottest tea that reality Steve has ever poured into our cups, because Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell are into some shit. And let me tell you, I never thought that I would be Rachael Kirkconnell, Team Rachael Kirk. Yes, rest in peace, girl. Rest in peace. Never thought I would be Team Rachael Kirkconnell, but I'm Team Rachael Kirkconnell today. So for those who do not know, it has been circulating that Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell has been spotted together in NYC. So long story short, everybody has been seeing that Matt James and Rachael have been in New York. She flew out early last week to go and see him. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this for y'all from page 6 so you can know that that's proven. On top of that, my best friend lives in New York, in Brooklyn, and a friend of hers, this is breaking news. I never come with my own tea, but a friend of a friend saw Matt James and Rachael Kirkconnell walking around in Brooklyn. So with that being said, we already know that they are seeing each other. We know that they were back together. So let's just get this out of the way. My computer is taking absolutely forever to load. But anyway, Rachael Kirkconnell was spotted visiting the bachelor Matt in his Manhattan. You see Rachael Kirkconnell here. This is a real picture of her. And then this is Matt when they were out. Two separate views. You see her out with her little sweatpants on. And that's just another picture of them. So she was here. And a friend of a friend saw them. So they're here. They're together. So with that being said, now some girl by the name of Grace has been coming out with some drama, saying that her and Matt James have been seeing each other and he's been in a love triangle. Yes, baby, a love triangle. We about to spill the tea, BB Bean. We about to get into it. Sydney, we about to get into it and rest his soul. Mad doggy dog. Matt is a doggy dog, ain't he? So let me go ahead and pull this for y'all. We're going to go ahead and start this hot. Reality Steve. If you do not know who Reality Steve is on Instagram, I'm going to show you. He does Bachelor, Big Brother. It's an old middle-aged white dude who gets all the gossip and all of the tea. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up his Instagram because he went on IG Live today. Oh, I'm jumping behind it. This the girl. Let me tell you, y'all. Reality Steve actually found the girl, Grace, that Matt James allegedly has been seeing, and they are calling her a booty call, okay? Let's get into what Reality Steve had to say here. I have timestamps, so we don't have to sit through the whole thing.
Thank you for tuning in. Didn't think I'd have to do a Friday live, but a lot going on. And sorry a little bit late, 8 minutes late. Had to get my notes together. I'm all right here because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of you are not aware of that I think you should be, and I'm going to fill you in on it. So I hope you all like my shirt. Hey, butthead. So how do you...
Just so y'all know, this is 33 minutes long. We're not going to do all 33 minutes. I did timestamps. My first one starting at 5 minutes. So I make sure I got all the points, but I'm going to let y'all see what he's saying first, and then I'll get into key points.
Your mom for me, one of the greatest lines ever uttered in cinematic history, why they are so wrong, and refute them. And I can also give you a little insight as to where this is coming from in terms of where I'm going to tell you the information that I'm about to give you and where these tabloids are getting their information.
So basically, long story short, E! News came out with an article that he's about to debunk now, talking about some drama between Rachael and Matt.
So the biggest thing is, when I tweeted earlier, I talked about the fact that is that I've been in the middle of this since Tuesday, and I will explain that as well, because there's just half truths and half stories being given in the stuff that you've read in E! and Us Weekly, and that Dukes Moy stupid Instagram post from last night as well, or this morning. So I just wanted to fill you in here, and what I'm going to say is this. The information that I'm going to tell you today is coming directly from inside Rachel's camp. That doesn't mean it's false. The information that I'm going to tell you today, because number one, I've seen text messages that back this up.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip into when he gets into the tea and the grunt of it. Long story short, Matt invited Rachael out beginning of the week, and he's been seeing somebody else.
And unfollowed her, but at the time, on Tuesday, when this happened, he was following her. He's no longer anymore, so you're not going to find her. But with that said, I was able to confirm the story, and this is what the story was. I was notified on Tuesday after I knew that Rachael was with Matt in New York that on Sunday night, 2 nights previous, Matt was trying to hook up with a girl named Grace. He has a past with Grace. That past, once he was with Rachael, never overlapped because he basically ghosted Grace once he got off the show and was with Rachael. Congratulations, Matt. Let's all give him a hand. He was able to not converse with another woman.
So long story short, he was seeing Grace before, just one of his hoes, one of these girls that he was seeing. He started seeing her when he couldn't see Rachael. And then when he got back with Rachael and they started to work things out and that was acceptable, he started to see this woman by the name of Grace. But there's more.
While he was in a relationship with Rachael, so good for him. But I can tell you the second Matt and Rachael broke up right after Valentine's Day, he immediately hit Grace back up. So what the story that was told to me was on Sunday night, Matt was still in Miami. Grace is in Florida. Matt hit her up. Knowing that Matt was leaving the first thing Monday morning out of Miami, he wanted Grace to drive and see him on Sunday night. I believe the text message was 9:30 or 10:30 at night. So Matt texted a woman in Florida at 9:30 at night, 10:30 at night, Sunday night, knowing he was leaving Miami the next morning, and asked this woman to drive to come see him.
Okay, so we already know Matt James came here. He wanted some what? He wanted some booty cheeks. We already know. So he was leaving Miami. He had a girl that he knew from back in the day. He hit her up. And the issue was he was trying to get freaky with her. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next part where Rachael finds out, okay? Because it gets messy.
Before he left. Okay. Knowing Rachael was coming to New York to see him in 2 days. Not his friends. So we need to almost backtrack a little bit before this and now say, I can report one of the things that came out in the Us Weekly story a couple hours ago, or an hour ago or whatever, and this is what he wants to be with her, he got to be friends. Another thing from the E! story, neat.
So basically, y'all, he was talking about the E! story and all the false news that they were giving, the false narratives about her coming to see him and, you know, everything being all happy-go-lucky, basically. But now, just when we get into when Rachael finds out, Grace finds out, everybody know, Grace sees, obviously, through the grapevine, this has been going on.
Let's figure out what to do. Thursday morning, yesterday morning, Rachael is notified about Grace.
It was funny. BB Bean, somebody actually said Matt didn't want to be like his daddy, and he ended up being just like his daddy. Papa was a rolling stone.
confronts Matt about it. I think I need to back up here real quick.
Back up.
So on Wednesday, I was in discussions and saying, like, look, is there a way, like, basically Matt was lying to Grace about Rachel being in New York. Like, literally flat out lying to her face. Because I said, hey, is Matt saying he's not with Rachel right now? And they said, yes. And I said, you need to specifically ask him.
So to backtrack a little bit, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up. I'm on my way to 800 subscribers. Your girl is almost there. So show me some LOLOLOLOVE. I'm talking about love. Anybody heard that song before? Ashley Simpson, really old. He has an insider, as he said before, that's not Rachel's sister or the mama. And he also has an insider on Matt James's side as well. And this insider, they wanted Matt to specifically ask, was he seeing Rachel, and were they basically, talking to each other? The they and the person he's referring to is Grace, the other woman. So he's going to go on and say that he tells Grace to text him and ask, but he calls Grace and tells her verbally, no, I wouldn't have done that. So this means that he's been seeing this Grace girl for a little bit too long for them to know each other like that. Let's continue.
Is Rachel with you right now?
Is she with you?
And is she there because you invited her? That was asked to Matt, and Matt did not respond in a text, but called Grace back and said, quote, I would never try and get with you Sunday night if that were the case. So when Grace was confronting Matt.
That's a lie. Talking about I would never try to get with you Sunday night. That's 2 days, baby. Women and men both get with somebody the same day. They get freaky with somebody the same day they got freaky with somebody else. Matt James, 2 days was probably enough time. Okay. Papa was a rolling stone.
About, is Rachel with you right now? He flat out called her back and said, I would never do that to you.
Oh.
Saying no.
He would never.
So denied that Rachel was even with him. To this Grace girl, who he tried to get with Sunday night. So Thursday morning.
But baby, Matt James, you must not be used to being famous yet, baby, because everybody knows that the paparazzi, and everybody gonna find out. I said the paparazzi. You already know what I'm saying.
Comes, and Rachel is notified about Grace. Rachel confronts Matt about Grace, and I actually also forgot something about Wednesday night. So Wednesday night when Matt and Rachel are together, Matt goes and gets sushi dinner. And while he's on his sushi dinner is when he responds back to Grace and says this to her over the phone. So he's with Rachel, goes and gets a sushi dinner, tells Grace this, I would never do that to you. Goes back and is with Rachel the rest of the night. Thought that was.
So Matt James is out here having a sushi dinner that people ended up seeing and putting 2 and 2 together. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and that thumbs up. I only got 2 thumbs up and I got 5 people in the building. I'm not the best at math, but show me some love and hit that subscribe button if you're new. If you're old, I love you. You know, we're some old dogs in here. Craziness. This man is out here, okay, Papa was a rolling stone, getting sushi, and he running in the bathroom, messaging Grace and going back to Rachel. All right, now I'm going to go ahead to my next key point because we already know what was going on with that. Bam, bam, bam.
Complete bullshit and couldn't be more wrong. But, I mean, that's his side feeding their story to us, Leaky, to make him look less bad. So where we're at now is after Rachel left Matt's apartment in a huff yesterday, very upset, crying, because she literally went back to him thinking this 3 weeks of this love bombing that he was giving her.
I'm gonna stop here because I just feel like, karma does come into play in all of these things. Like, we're gonna sit here and act like Rachael Kirkconnell didn't have all these racist allegations and all this drama, and yes, we can forgive, but the way the world works and the way that things work out, sometimes karma gets you. So I'm saying, we really thought, exactly, it is the temptation, BBB. The Temptations for sure. We really thought that Matt, James, and Rachel were going to work out. We thought that they were going to get married and give us a happy ending. Is that really what y'all thought? I'm just asking. Leave it in the comments. But I feel bad. But I'm just like, Rachel, baby, this didn't start off strong anyway to begin with. It started off with lies, deceit, and a little bit of racism. All right? Let's go ahead and pull it.
Was going to lead to something in the future. She finds out about this Grace girl yesterday morning and says that's it. Yesterday afternoon, Rachel and Grace both spoke to each other, swapped stories, and realized what was going on. Grace told Rachel all the things that Matt said to her. Rachel told Grace all the things.
Grace told Rachel. Rachel told Grace. So they were going back and forth comparing messages. Y'all, we've been there, done that. Oop.
That Matt said to her, and they realized this guy is playing both of them. So, so the post this morning from Dex Moy, and I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but good, because I hate the crap that they spew. They posted on their Instagram account, someone I know sat next to Rachel and her friends at dinner last night. They were going through text messages between Matt and Rachel. Rachel was upset and started crying at dinner. Again, not the full story. Number one, Rachel was only at dinner with one person last night. It was not with the girls from her season. It was just with
So people are already spreading fake news, which he's debunking, as I said before, because it's a picture of basically all of the Bachelorette girls going out and hanging out from that season, this last season, and Rachel was not there. They met back to back. But, people like to make the story all hyped up and all juicy. And it ain't even hyped and juicy like that. They talked about it. It was sad, and that was it. So I'm going to finish off this with Reality Steve. But then the girl, Caroline, I call her Caroline, whatever this girl's name is, went on live with Reality Steve to talk about it too. So let's go ahead and finish up Reality Steve.
Her best friend that lives in New York. It was just the two of them, so it wasn't a group of people. She wasn't reading text messages that Matt sent her because since yesterday morning when Rachel left Matt's apartment in a huff with her suitcase, they have not spoken. He has not reached out to her. He has not said a word to her. So she wasn't reading any text messages between her and Matt.
Oh, wow. A normal breakup, huh? Them playing you, blocking you, and acting like you ain't no different. I don't know why everybody thought Matt James was no different. If anything, Matt James was the same. I'm going to finish off with this point.
So where we're at now, I'm sure that his side is now going to run to the tabloids again and try and spin the narrative of God knows what. But even when I read the E story, I knew, because the E story came out before, I knew that Grace and Rachel had spoken to each other. So, but even then, I read this story, I'm just like, this is it's garbage. It's just bullshit. And then the Us Weekly story came out today, which I knew it was coming because they had informed Rachel's camp that they were going to run with a story that was basically Matt's side. And
so they got he said, she said, Matt's side, his side, everybody's side. That's that. Grace. There we go. I couldn't even remember that girl, Grace. So speaking of Grace, BBB, I'm going to go ahead and pull because after Reality Steve posted this, after he did all of that, got 100,000 views in a couple hours, we had Miss Grace go ahead and come out.
There's two sides.
And call Reality Steve and go live with him. So let's go ahead and run that and watch this. Now, I haven't seen this yet, so we're going to sit and watch this Stay if you want to, go if you don't, but I haven't seen this. So I made sure that I pulled this for y'all because I want to see what's going on with Miss Grace. This is a mess. So let's go ahead and pull up what Matt's other booty call, an old girl in Florida, had to say to Steve Carbone. Reality Steve, if you are just joining me, hit that subscribe button. I'm on my way to 800 subscribers. Give me one more thumbs up. I only have 2, and I have a couple people on. All right.
I hope you all are back.
So if you're just joining, this is Reality Steve, one of the most renowned social media, basically gossip vloggers, bloggers, whoever gets all of the tea for the reality shows. He's going live with the alleged Matt James, Mr. Ass, or the lady that he's been seeing. So let's go ahead and look at this.
After I ended with that last live, I get a text immediately from Grace and says, let's go live. I said, all right. So when Grace sends a request, Grace will come live with us. And you can all hear what she has to say.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and skip.
I need to spend 30 or 40 minutes in the run.
Come on, Grace.
Let's say romantic friend.
With my live, you texted me and said, let's go live. So I don't even know why you want to do this, but
okay.
I know people want to hear from you.
Watching your live, I couldn't watch the whole thing. I was working. But I just wanted to clarify a couple things about the timeline and the storyline. And
she definitely serves me Rachael Kirkconnell. Rachael Kirkconnell is a little bit cuter, but she's a little brunette, white woman.
What happened with Matt and I, and you know, how it got to Rachael. So basically, I would say I had a romantic friendship with Matt before the show. And then he went on the show and he found love. That's
a romantic friendship. Does that mean they were getting freaky or sleeping together? A romantic friendship, friends with benefits, or not even friends?
Great. Happy for him. No issues there. I hold no grudge towards Matt otherwise there. And then we, you know, casually talked after they broke up, like very casually. Never made plans to meet up. And then didn't hear from him until Sunday, which it's been like a month, I guess, and since we last talked.
You see how these girls would blast you.
He tried to reach out to you after he broke up on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, no, he just like would, you know, started responding to me again, you know, like casually we talked about like key lime pie and like my job and his life and how he was doing, and you know.
Key lime pie.
Yes. Connect 4, all those things. And then Sunday, it was like 8 o'clock. I had just worked. I was so tired. It was like I'd worked from 5 a.m. to like 6 p.m. It was crazy. I wasn't gonna go out, but I was thinking maybe I was going to. And Matt texts me out of the blue, and he says, "What are you doing this week?" And I was like, you know, shouldn't be too busy, but like Mondays I always have off. And he says, "Why don't you come down to Miami for the night?" And I was like, "It sounds fun. Like, you know, could be a change of scenery." And
Girl, it didn't sit right with you. I'm going to say this. It didn't sit right with her because Matt wasn't choosing her. She didn't really care or give a damn about Rachael. Come on. You wanted to end up being with Matt James, too. You wouldn't have seen the reality star. Just saying. Just saying.
So I contacted Reality Steve.
Okay, so yeah, this girl will get popularity, whatever. Put her on another season. But I mean, as Reality Steve said, I said before, none of this of which is surprising. This comes with the territory. He was just a bad liar. He was just being messy. We already know. That's how people are. They're liars, they be messy. But at the end of the day, you always gonna get caught up. People are always gonna find out, okay? So that's pretty much it. This is going to unravel more. I'm sure Matt's going to have to come out and say something. Now this new girl has clout. Now people are team Rachael Kirkconnell, and now people are all confused, and we forgot about the reason why we even started all of this and why they shouldn't have been together in the first place. Not going to work out. Not going to continue. But alas, it has been too much drama. Does Matt have a type? Of course Matt has a type. Matt 100% has a type. They both look the same. And we can already tell what Matt's type is. Literally interchangeable. Put a hat on. I'm sure when she takes her hair down, we didn't even get to see her hair. Then I'm sure that it would have been the same deal. So I'm getting out of here, y'all. Keep it short. We're hit 30 minutes. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time. I'm on my way to 800 subscribers. Bye-bye.